the RFID common language. They're both the same network, right? Laptop.
Yes.
Is your laptop connected power?
Yeah. Sure. Okay, so this is a mobility solution.
Bitcoin. Is there a Zebra dedicated mobile or any handle for iOS?
This is Zebra.
Zebra.
Yeah. Runs Android. Yeah.
So that is replaces our scanners,
Correct.
right? But I hear I can use in any of the Apple or Android mobiles.
Yeah,
same way,
you can.
same.
Only thing is, see, when you use a normal phone, right, you can still use the camera to scan the barcodes. The thing is the distance. If your barcode is like say probably the third rack, your camera won't reach that far. So with the laser scan, it's more easier to scan on multi levels. So how high is your maximum?
Well, we have, of course, maybe you can say,
Yeah, okay.
that's
Yeah.
not gonna work, but I'm asking maybe some of the
For supervisors or someone, yeah.
class,
Correct.
those documents can scan.
Correct. Correct. So
The user will be single sign-on with Oracle.
yeah, which is going to explain that. So the login credentials that you use in the application is same as your Oracle user credentials. If you have SSO enabled on Fusion side, we'll enable SSO on the application also. So it'll go through the same. So I'll need few details on that. I'll probably,
Yes.
when we start, I need the certificate details. So once you log in, you will see a list of menu options like inbound, inventory, outbound transactions, manufacturing, maintenance. So based on your rules, so basically as part of the implementation, what we'll do is now suppose some set of users can perform only inventory transactions, so they will not be able to access any of the manufacturing or maintenance cloud-related screens or transactions. So there's something that we'll have to discuss internally, seeing your Oracle, because see, some customers use the standard roles of Oracle. Some, majorly of them, they use a custom role, which is exactly a copy of the standard role, but there are few restrictions that they add. So based on that, based on your user role matrix, we will also configure as to which transactions they can access when they log into the mobility solution to control what they're only supposed to access. So let's get into inbound. So as part of inbound, we've got transactions like receiving against a PO, right? Do you have ASNs? ASN, advance shipment notice. Do you receive against ASNs?
Receive against notification?
Yes.
Not much.
You don't have ASNs. Okay. We can create PRs, purchase requisition also from the device if required. You can do a receipt correction. So typically, say when you've received any purchase order and a receipt has been created, but now you want to go back and edit the receipt information, you can do that. You can do inspection. So inspection is two, either a normal inspection or you do it through a quality plan, where you have a set of questionnaires or characteristics defined, and based on those answers, you would have the inspection results in place. Also, we've got transfer orders. So this is basically when you ship out from one organization and you receive in the other organization. That case, you could typically have a transfer order, right? So we do an intra-org transfer from one of the organizations, and you could receive through an in-transit shipment, or you do a transfer order that you ship from the source organization and then you receive the destination organization. So which one are you following? Are you following the
For the internal, IMG, yes.
Okay. And from one org to another org, do you have any such?
But mostly things goes from here to another org.
Okay.
We don't normally receive, very rare.
Okay.
We send a lot.
Okay. So how many inventory orgs do you have currently in the system?
For this facility, we have, okay, the future is something little different, which we are also synchronizing.
Okay.
For us, we have a 3 main, I mean like one main and a couple of sub inventories, right? But IMT is totally a different different organization, but within our entity. One license, I can say, right? But they are not using right now any entity name. And it's up to the next level whether they want to use it or not. So they're gonna receive manual one. But we normally don't receive much in the IMT so far.
Supplementary is fine. My only concern was like how many inventory orgs specifically do you have? It's only one license.
That's what in future I think it's gonna be three,
Okay, three. Okay.
mostly three.
Okay. So then you will have all these things coming in place, right? Shipping from
But
one.
they are not going with the Selenium right now,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Maybe they send us, we may receive, but future they may go ahead.
Okay.
But there is gonna be three inventory or,
So are they also moving to Fusion right now?
yes.
Do they have inspection with quality plan?
I have a question here.
Ah.
So when I said already three inventory in future for Fusion, so I can receive this against the work order also? Anything receive against the work order?
Transfer order is something different. altogether.
That's what it is.
Yeah, transfer order is like a move order basically.
Why I'm asking is
Ah.
future, for example, within these three entities, we gonna outsource
Okay.
and they cannot raise POs. So it will be internal transfer. Even the operation sequence or again, or hours or cost, whatever it is, will be captured the work order only.
Okay.
Can we use this for that or
That we'll have to see how you're going to first configure it on the Oracle side.
as a standard work order process?
Should be fine. So there's no customization involved anywhere.
Right now, no.
Okay. If at all there's any, then we'll have to then revisit it as to how we can design it. Similarly, RMAs. So in case you're returning, customers are returning the material back, then you could receive and put away or inspect those materials as part of the RMA transactions. In transit, as I mentioned, is from org to org. So from one, you ship from one and you receive in the other. So when you receive in the destination organization, you have an in-transit shipment that comes in. Okay. I'll start with the PO receiving first. So typically any screen that you access for the first time, it will ask you for the organization. Okay. So you enter the organization only once. Thereon, every other transaction that you go for, the organization gets defaulted. Similar to how it was in EBS or in Fusion. If you want to switch the organization, there's a separate screen for changing the organization. So in case you're using a normal phone or a tablet, right? On the bottom, there's a barcode symbol, this one. Okay, this one. So this, if you click on that, it will open up the camera of your phone. Okay. So you could just then point at the barcode and click on the scan button. This is in case you don't have a laser scan. If you have a laser scan, you can just point the laser scan. That's it. You can just point at the barcode and it will scan it. Right. So, or it's not necessary that every field will have a barcode. So in case you don't have a barcode, you can enter the data manually, or you can select it from the list of values. So once you enter the organization, then the next thing system prompts you is to enter the purchase order number, the PO number. So as I mentioned, behind every field, it's a real-time Oracle, bit technical side, a real-time Oracle API call that validates the actual data to be used. So typically say one PO has multiple items, say 3 items, and out of 3 items you received, only 1 is pending. So then the item list will show you only 1. So it will have a real-time check of what is the existing data that I need to transact on. So I'll enter the PO number. So are your purchase orders all inspection?
Yes.
All inspection. There's no direct or standard at all. Depends. Okay. Okay. And do you have lot and serial?
PO, yes.
Okay.
Lot, work order, serial.
Okay.
PO sometimes mix.
And do you have lot plus serial?
That's what in a purchase order, sometimes it is mixed lot plus serial.
So one item is lot, and within lot you have serial also.
Yes.
Okay.
But most of the cases, it is all the purchase items are lot controlled, work order is a serial control.
Okay. So here you'll enter the PO number. So once you enter the PO number, it will then tell you, okay, which supplier this PO belongs to, and I will ask you to enter the item or scan the item. So let's say I just click on the LOB. This has 6 line items. Okay, right. So let me just pull out. I'll just show you how the barcodes can look like. So let's just say you have a 1D barcode. Okay, typically your items are barcoded. So there are two aspects to this. You could either have an item barcoded and sent by the supplier. In that case, you will scan the barcode. The other is if not, then you could generate a barcode or an inward material label or a receipt label upon receiving, paste that barcode on that particular item. Going forward, any transaction that you do, say you issue to the work order or you transfer this material or you need to ship it out or whatever may be the reason, you could use the same barcode to scan it. So typically when it comes from the supplier, normally the manufacturer barcode might differ from the Oracle item. Okay. I'm not sure if that's the case for you. Do you have any manufacturer barcode coming in like supplier barcode?
Normally, maybe coming, but we never use it. Not last 4, 5 years we are not using such.
Okay.
Maybe coming up.
So if that happens, you could also have a cross reference defined. So cross reference means my supplier manufacturer barcode is X and the corresponding Oracle item code is Y. So you have this mapping defined in Oracle. So tomorrow if supplier sends that item, you scan that barcode of X, system will know, okay, this corresponds to item Y in Oracle. So in such cases, you avoid printing extra labels or having extra barcodes every which is reuse whatever is there. So this is also supported. That's something which requires configuration on Oracle side because you need to have it cross-reference defined. Similarly, on our side, the transaction that will get impacted based on it.
But when we are processing anything receiving our Oracle part number with the purchase order, why change?
So it won't change. For instance, the supplier has sent you an item that has a manufacturer barcode, say X. Okay.
Are you talking about their item?
Their item, correct. So their item code and Oracle item code, there has to be a cross-reference. So you scan their item code, system will internally identify what is the Oracle item code, which is part of that purchase order. Because purchase order at the end will have the Oracle item.
I think we will generate ours, whatever the Oracle one. I don't know. Maybe use this.
So let's say you have your own barcodes, you have items barcoded. So all you do is just scan this. So when you scan the barcode, it will automatically populate the value in the respective field, and it will move on to the next field. So I just scan this barcode, which was INT PL item. So that value would automatically populated here. So instead of manually entering the values and searching from the list, in real time, whatever items that you see are there, you could just scan those barcodes. So the complete screen layout is totally dependent on how Oracle works. So when I say that, the sub-inventory here is non-mandatory. Reason being, the purchase order is inspection required. So sub-inventory is mandatory only when you do a put away, only when you move this to the inventory. So during the receiving step, you may or may not have a receiving location. So if you have a receiving location, you can scan that receiving sub-inventory. If not, you can skip it. So do you have any receiving area?
Yeah. Everything has a locator.
So you have a receiving area where you keep it, and then you inspect over there, and then you move it to your. Okay. And your inspected materials also move to any quarantine or any rejected sub-inventory?
In case, yes.
Okay, so you have a specific location. Okay, so that
we have, but again, as I said, this barcode is we are restarting this barcode after 6. Okay, so we have to do all the whatever the labeling everything correct. We have to do correct. For the location. Right now, our location doesn't have any of the labels, but we will. Before we do all these projects and go live, we will.
Any questions so far?
Yeah. how you identify individual serial numbers? Say quantity, I have 50 numbers, right? In that particular line item. You are scanning only one barcode and entering the quantity on that line, right?
Yeah.
How the system will recognize the different serial numbers, 50 serial numbers?
So see that serials, you have physically received them, right?
Yeah.
And you have barcodes on the serials, right?
Yeah.
You will have the serial numbers on your package or on the material, right? So you will enter those serials during the put away process.
Yeah.
That will be during the put away process. During the receiving step, you will not be entering any serials because that's the Oracle standard way of it. But there is a customization that we have done for one customer as of now. Because Oracle standard flow, if your purchase order is standard or inspection required, then it will ask you for the lot and serial during put away. If it is direct, then it will ask you during receiving. But one of our customers, what they want to know is when we receive, prompt us for the lot or serial so that we use the same lot and serial during inspection and put away. So that overrides Oracle standard flow, but it is possible through integration. That's it. So if you want that during the receiving step, yeah, then we'll have customer.
We normally use the serial control. Some parts, yes. Not all. Most of them has a lot.
Yeah, but some manufactured item like.
Yeah. This is the.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
It comes with the serial number, right? Individual.
Yes, but that will be captured from the work order scan. The particular.
Yeah.
Because that work order is generated against the serial number. So when we receive, scan the same. Will be captured.
Correct.
The barcode will be generated
For what?
for the kit something. If you are in 50 quantity.
If you want to separate it as an individual, yes.
Separately, you have to separate.
Yeah.
But if it is for example screw, right? It doesn't come with the serial control.
Yeah,
So
only one part.
you use one part.
That some item, for example, we received 1,000 quantity, 1 lakh.
Yeah.
We are receiving some material to assembly, the same laptop. And the meantime, we are shipping also sometimes. So, how many packages?
Now, see, that is depends. The item is not serial control. You ship irrespective of time to complete lot. Right? So, if it is a 10 quantity out of 1,000, you would put in a different bag and scan it as a one different. But it's going to be the same lot. But if it goes outside, it will be our QC, whatever they want you to do. You take the, even that one as a single control or the screws.
No, the screws,
It's the same.
Same label we are.
Yes. If it is, for example, if you are receiving this nitrogen coil, 30 pieces, every 30 will have a different part of it. It's because it is serial. I think it's serialized, right?
Yes.
So you have a 30 serial. When 30, you stick on 30.
There is a traceability.
Everything.
Not two, there are three consider. Three bags.
We be controlling that when we receive or when we put it in inventory. So that should be the same, right? Lot control or serial control is happening in Oracle right now. It can be received.
Because they are putting the receipt travel with the
Exactly.
serial number.
That should be.
Yeah.
So
I don't know
currently
how it will be more.
you will how to do it.
You are following Fusion one.
But in EBS you have, is it?
Yeah. Even if it is Fusion, they will ask the same.
Correct. So that's front end. I mean, the Fusion side is not possible.
I don't know. Fusion, they told us lot control, serial control, receiving or we putting in green. Receiving. But that's.
If anything were to be validated with that, just keep it as a comment.
Mhm.
Then we can also call them.
Yeah, sure.
We were discussed on the.
Yeah. These are, there is a things we discussed already. I think we do all those things we receive.
Mhm. Okay. But show the PO is inspection prepared.
I can say, see, we have two different categories, direct, indirect. All the direct items, right, there's an inspection.
Okay.
Indirect does bypass the inspection.
And indirect, do you have again lot and serial lines right with that?
Not much, but we are looking.
Okay.
It depends. Especially the toolings, we don't need to control any lot or serial. And the maintenance spares and all, we don't control. That's when we say indirect. Probably most of them are expense items. It doesn't come on any form or engineering design.
Correct.
So it is just a direct.
Correct.
So that doesn't have any lot. It requires maintenance. But others, the major portion of the business is always lot control or either serial control or both. And of course, inspection.
Then your unit of measure gets defaulted. So this comes in from your
What is set in system?
water setting system. Now you'll enter the quantity that you're receiving. Okay. So
When the supplementary plan.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. This is basically the receiving step. So during the receiving step, you may or may not have a receiving supplementary. So if you have a receiving supplementary, you can enter it. If not, you can skip it. But the supplementary is mandatory when you actually move the stock to the inventory. That is after your inspection process in most of the cases. So when you do a put away, that's when you
That
are.
makes sense. I don't know. We'll see.
Tooling mostly.
Yeah, but there is no inspection.
That is direct routing, right?
Which one? Whatever you said in system. Whatever we have said in Oracle, we were able to say.
We got this.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So it's as the same supply chain module as a standard available in the cloud with even the same object name, right?
Normally, in this case, the project number is supposed to be P1M.
No, this is with the project management.
Okay, that's different.
So sometimes you might receive against the project. Yeah. Similar way, you could do an inspection, okay, say through normal inspection. So do you have inspection plans for all items or it's again partial?
No IPD for all items.
For all?
Don't have inspection test plan for all, right? We have a standard. We have a standard. You can consider yes, actually.
So you'll have both cases.
Yeah, but see, there is when inspection test plan is when I say it depends upon the percentage of inspection. But 100% parts comes in your inventory is inspected. So you consider yes, we have. So you mean probably sampling
Percentage. Yeah.
Yes, this percentage will change.
Correct.
When it is recorded by a documented test procedure or test plan. Okay, rest of them, maybe I can say 10% or 5%, whatever it is, our standard, we will follow it. Unless my customer wants something like 100% inspection, we do also that, but it depends upon that's what we call as IT. Right, so to answer your question, yes, we do IT.
So I'll just show the inspection quality plan process also. So when you do an inspection, so there are multiple ways. Either you could, so you enter the PO number and then it will show you all the receipts that have been created or generated so far as part of a receiving step. Okay. Now this could be both ways. You could also start with the receipt number. So this can be, rearranged. So in case you want to do an inspection with the receipt number, you can start with the receipt number, or you want to start the inspection with the PO number, you can do that. So that will totally depend on how you want to initiate any inspection process. Keep going.